One of the big challenges about organic farming is actually creating a microenvironment that will operate on its own because it's totally in balance with nature. And we don't compete with nature, we try to imitate nature. My name is Al, my wife's name is Joan. Together we own Po'omoho Organic Produce. Our farm is located on the north shore of Oahu. We're in Waialua. We have a 7-acre certified organic orchard that grows over 30 varieties of tropical fruit. Mango, papaya, banana, lemon, lime, orange, tangerine, grapefruit, lychee, longan, dragon fruit, breadfruit, and a whole lot of other things. And for example, here's a star fruit, and we like to show people the fruit that we grow, and we also like to give them a taste of the fruit right off of the trees. Neither one of us came from a farming background. I'm a retired naval intelligence officer. My wife is a retired computer engineer, so we had to learn how to be farmers, and we had to learn how to be organic. So this is part of the story that we like to tell people when they come to visit the North Shore and come to visit our farm during this tour.
My name is Ku'ipo Garrido. We're here in Waialua on the north shore side of the island of Oahu at our taro farm called Namea Kupono. We started farming here about 3 years ago, and we're here to perpetuate the Hawaiian culture, to educate people about taro farming, and to just share aloha. Kalo to the Hawaiian people is what they would call their staff of life. It's the main staple in their diet. Kalo can be grown in 2 ways, either wetland or dryland, and the Hawaiians perfected the wetland growing of the kalo. From the rainwater that falls through Mount Ka'ala, it takes 25 years for the rain to seep into the aina, into the land, and then it comes up in an artesian well. We take that water and we feed our taro patch. What we need to do to maintain it is to weed all the weeds that grow. There's a lot of non-native invasive plants that have come to Hawaii, along with apple snails and crayfish that we have to go by hand and take them out. The crayfish and the snails, they actually eat the taro. So in turn, we eat the crayfish. So that's one way that we're able to maintain them. Kalo takes from 10 to 12 months to mature, and then when it's time to harvest, we huki the kalo, we pull it from the water, and then we tear the roots off. We have to cut the kalo from the stalk, and then we take the corn, the kalo, and we steam it for 2 hours. After it's done cooking, then we have to take the kalo skins off by scraping it, and then we do a fine clean with the knife. Then that kalo is pounded with a stone mortar, and that will become pa'i'ai. After you add water and you mix it, then it's poi and ready to enjoy.
Po'omoho was sacred to the ancient Hawaiians because this is where the Ali'i women came to give birth. The mountain beside us is called Mount Ka'ala, and Mount Ka'ala resembles a reclining pregnant woman, and that's why the ancient Hawaiians selected this area as their birthing area. We're right next to Po'omoho Gulch, where the ancient Hawaiians went to farm. They lived up here on the plateaus, and they went down in these gulches because that's where the water was. And so right below our farm is the remains of an ancient Hawaiian farming village. All the varieties of fruit that we have are local varieties, so there are things that people will have here and be able to taste here that will never get on the mainland or never get from where they are overseas. We have 7 different varieties of avocados, and they're all local varieties, and they have names like Keone, Kalihi, Yamagata, Murashige, and people will get a chance to taste these different varieties, which they'll never be able to do at their home place. Our other big crop are mangoes. We have 5 different varieties of mangoes, but we have one premier mango, and that's called Raposa. In fact, when we sell Raposa to somebody, we have to do it with a consumer warning that says, once you eat Raposa, you'll never be able to eat another kind of mango. Our jackfruits are 30-pound fruits, very, very popular in Southeast Asia. Another creamy, sweet, custardy texture inside of that. It grows very, very uniquely. It seems to grow off of the trunk of the tree rather than off of the limbs of the tree. Many, many, many different kinds of plants, animals, insects, bacteria, all of these interact with one another so that we have balance on the farm. And this balance then creates a microenvironment that simply operates on its own. We have dogs, for example, that keep strangers and wild pigs out of the farm. We have cats that keep field mice out of the barn. Ducks eat snails and slugs. Chickens eat ants and centipedes. We have bees for pollination. So all of these animals are working together as part of the habitat, part of the microenvironment.
When we plant the kalo or harvest it and we get to go into the lo'i, into the mud, into the water, it's something that I feel that everyone should experience, because you get to go into nature and you get to feel the mud in your toes, where most people, they're afraid of dirt. Yeah, but what we have to realize is that dirt, that's our Mother Earth. And when we're touching her and we're feeling the water and we're feeling the dirt, it makes you feel connected to the environment and to nature. There's bugs crawling all over the place, but they're bugs and they have a spirit, and it's okay, you know, that we can coexist together. So being out in the taro patch, that's what I get out of it, is that I'm reminded that I'm just a steward of the land, and that the land needs me just as much as I need it. So it's like play. Even though it's a lot of work, my back hurts, and you know, we're in the hot sun, but the water cools us, and I know that what I'm doing is helping the environment. It makes it all worth the while.
We think agriculture in Hawaii, we think farming in Hawaii is one of those big vacant spots that the tourists actually miss. We want to encourage that the tourists get a whole view of life in Hawaii, and one of those things is agriculture and the way we farm in Hawaii. And there's no other opportunity for tourists to do this except through these organized tours. The North Shore is the largest agricultural area on Oahu. 70% of the tourists that visit Oahu come to the North Shore. We want to make sure they get a good idea about what this part of Hawaii life is like. We want to be able to talk about our farm. We want to be able to show people what we do. We want to educate visitors on what organic is, what our farm does. We think that's a really unique attraction to people who are coming from the mainland or from overseas to see how we do farming in Hawaii.